What do we have at the foundation of the reading? The Devil, Capricorn energy in reverse at the foundation of the reading. Now, the downloads that I have been receiving for this particular reading have all been speaking about the new year, 2025, and how this is going to be a time of retribution for you. This is when you are all going to be coming out of the shadows, so to speak, in certain areas of your life. A lot of you have been in a kind of solitude. The divine has really been working on you, upgrading you, preparing you for what's to come. But this hasn't been easy. In order to enter into this space, which is a kind of communion with the divine, you had to break away from a kind of societal conditioning. In a nutshell, you decided that you were not going to be a part of the sheeple. Some of you are actually alone now because you refused to accept the lie. You pushed back against the system of control in your life, however that may be showing up. You began to question everything, and because of it, a lot of you were cast out, or you willingly left some of these dynamics behind. Since then, you've had to navigate the dark alone, or well, with only God by your side, which is really all that you need. But in the beginning, you didn't realize that the divine God was with you. It took time before you began to feel this supportive energy all around you, embracing you. You're a kind of divine masterpiece because of what you have come up against and essentially defeated, because you refused to bend the knee. And a lot of this was illuminated to you when you started to level up in your life. Some of these individuals, I heard, stopped supporting you when they realized that they wouldn't amount to anything, right? So here they are, crabs in a barrel, watching you level up, watching you work day in and day out, whatever that represents for you, to turn your life around, to just be better than the person you were yesterday, last month, last year. You were showing growth. This is where everything began to change for you. But this year that you are getting ready to step into will be the first year where you 100% care less about what people think, which is going to result in the biggest spiritual growth spurt you have ever had in your life. And this is what is representing the devil in reverse at the foundation. It's an energy of breaking free and reclaiming your power. You're no longer allowing yourself to be held back by the envy, by the jealousy, and by the greed of others. Isn't it interesting? All of the things that potentially hold us back all fall under the umbrella of one of the 7 deadly sins. Whether it's us holding ourselves back because we hold one of those traits within ourselves, or it's somebody external to us who holds one of those traits. It's very important to try and recognize this, because there's not a whole lot of difference whether it's you doing it to yourself or somebody else is doing it to you, because the result is still the same. You're not on your path. You're not where the divine needs you to be. And this is why it's absolutely crucial to scan your external environments of these energies and break away from them as soon as possible. I don't want to say it's a futile effort to put all this work into yourself spiritually when you're still surrounded by these energies, but you are kind of working against the grain there, because it suggests that even though you may be putting all this work into yourself, the influence that you have around you could cause you to slip back into old ways. I mean, how many of you out there have slipped back into old dynamics in the middle of some sort of awakening that you're going through? And then a few years later, you look back and you're like, what happened? I bet that every single one of you have been through that. I know I certainly have. It didn't stop happening for me until I changed my environments. That's when I saw the major growth in my own life. That's when things really started to take off for me. You need to work with a clean slate, a blank canvas, so to speak, without the influence of others around you. I quite often mention that you at least owe yourself the opportunity to do this. And once you're stabilized on your path, you can always try and add somebody back to see what energetic influence they bring into your life. And when you do this, you begin to have a more acute understanding of how energy truly works. I remember when I did this, I tried to add somebody back and I just felt myself slipping. Every time I would listen to this person talk, I just felt something tugging on me. Now, I was strong enough at that point not to allow their words to influence me, but it was beyond that. There was an energy there. It felt like an old, familiar spirit that was irritating every fiber of my being. So I quickly cut contact with this individual and everything went back to normal. It's mind-blowing when you start to recognize this in your own life and you're able to experiment with the energies. A lot of you have the understanding and know exactly what I'm talking about. But I just want you to take a moment to think about what I'm saying here. because this is coming through in a very potent manner right now. I really feel that the divine is preparing a lot of you for this new year. This entire last year, astrologically speaking, has been very trying on a lot of people. It's been up, it's been down, it's been all over the place. It's been a certain kind of spiritual boot camp, I feel, for all of us. No matter how evolved or awakened you are on your path, we all felt it in some capacity. But within the next couple of months, we're going to be coming out of this, and the runway is going to be clear for all of you. I feel that in recent days, you've been feeling very confused, but things are now beginning to clear, and your thoughts, your ideas, everything is beginning to kind of crystallize. You're starting to understand that everything you have gone through over the course of this past year has been preparing you for something that you never actually thought you would be able to achieve in this lifetime. But now you are starting to recognize it as something that is not only achievable, but it's actually not that difficult to succeed at. Now, this is going to be different for all of you, but this really speaks about the spirits, right, that linger around us, whether it's people external to us, whether it's our mindsets, whether it's our behavioral patterns. There's many different ways that these spirits can access us. But what you are starting to understand now is that it was always some sort of energetic influence that led you to believe that certain things were unattainable, unachievable, and flat out not possible in your life. What do we have? The sacral, please. Five of Pentacles. Wow. Taurus energy at the sacral. This Five of Pentacles is that illusion, is that lie, is everything that made you feel like this was not possible. The Devil in reverse next to the Five of Pentacles represents individuals that are breaking free from karmic cycles, from limiting beliefs, from poverty mindsets. Some of you, it could even be financial hardship that you're going to start coming out of next year because you're aligning with your mission, your purpose. There's many different storylines that I'm beginning to pick up here, so I'm just giving you a generalization of the overall blanketed energy that I'm feeling here. But in saying that, even though all of you are going through different events and situations in your life, when you read it from an energetic standpoint, it's exactly the same. Because in the spirit, we don't see all these finer details because they're not necessary. You either are or you aren't. All of the in-between is just noise. Your sacral position, where this Five of Pentacles is sitting, represents your passion, your creativity. This Five of Pentacles sitting there is telling you that there's no way you'll ever be able to pull that off. You represent a collective of individuals that are literally breaking free of the devil's matrix. But it's a matrix of the mind. It's a matrix of belief. It's a matrix of illusion. And each and every one of you has the power to overcome it. See, the devil will seep into your mind by way of the energies that you entertain on any given day. From the moment of inception, you're bombarded with all of these energies that are working against you to stop you from achieving your mission and your purpose in this life cycle. This is something that took me a while to actually even compartmentalize and understand, but it's so very true. Most, if not all of the people that are listening to this reading here, that are on this path, know exactly what I'm talking about. Most of you aren't supported by other people when it comes to what we're picking up here for all of you. You know that it's a very lonely path, but once you get on it, it's actually not lonely at all, because you realize just how much spiritual support you have, which can make you feel more seen, more whole, and more necessary to the mechanics of reality than any single person ever could. It's in these spaces where you're able to truly connect with your higher self and become one with Source and nurture that connection with the divine, which can quickly replace anything you feel you have lost on your path. It's only but a prayer away. I've been picking up lately more messages surrounding just how important it is for all of you to be praying. You don't have to overthink it. You can say a simple Our Father before you go to sleep each night. It takes less than a minute. And this will have a bigger impact on any single thing you do at any other point throughout your day. This is the moment that you recalibrate with your higher self and Source. You touch base, so to speak. It's a way of checking in. It's so easy to get lost inside this reality that we're all existing in. And it doesn't get any easier. We just become stronger. We just become more aware. We just become less likely to allow these energies to affect us because our discernment has become too strong. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Wow. What an energy. The Tower. Aries, Mars, Scorpio energy at the solar plexus, which is its home position as well. So this is further reiterating the message that's coming through here, because the tower is really representing the destruction that you have brought to these false securities in your lives. It's an energy of revelation. I'm also thinking back to what I said about individuals that stop supporting you when they realize they wouldn't amount to anything, right? The crabs in the barrel mentality. And this tower is really highlighting that again here, because it feels like you just woke up one day and realized that you were behind enemy lines. I know that feeling all too well. When you think you're home, right? When you think that the people that are around you are your tribe, but then something of this magnitude happens, spiritually speaking, and you just see things a little different. It's like you are this kind of glitch in their matrix. You are the threat, and you see them react in a way that you have never witnessed from these individuals ever before. It's as if in that moment you feel that you got to go. You can't be there anymore, no matter what cost, no matter what you may lose. There's just something inside of you that is telling you that you must leave, and you must leave immediately. It's like waking up and realizing that you're in the middle of hell, and you truly don't really understand just how deep in hell you were until you set out on the journey to your awakening. Spiritually, it feels like you're going through a kind of darkness, a dense forest region that you didn't even know you were in the middle of. A whole world crafted, created just to keep you asleep inside your own custom-made devil's matrix. Begin to look back, and the details are absolutely mind-blowing. It's like they plucked you out from the moment of inception and placed you in the middle of this maze, never actually thinking you would wake up to it, which is what causes this tower energy to unfold. As you're making your way out of this certain kind of hell, you start to see the characters, the actors, and the actresses that were all playing their parts to keep you ensnared and asleep become insignificant. It's as if you pulled back the curtain and they realized the jig is up. They were never, ever who they appeared to be. They never even existed. The further you make your way down your path, these people become less and less likely to even reappear in your life, further supporting the Matrix theory. Now, it's built differently for everybody, but make no mistake, we all have one that we're overcoming, every single last one of us. What do we have at the heart, please? The Hermit, Virgo energy at the heart. Unbelievable. So we spoke this Hermit into existence because entering into the reading, I was feeling this tremendous solitude that a lot of you have been in, or just feeling this energy of soul searching, just being alone with your thoughts and spirit, divine, God, breaking away from the noise. It's during these moments when you're going inward for clarity, do you begin to have another path illuminated to you? Like another path opens up for you that you didn't even realize was there. This is an absolute war. And this is you coming out the other side. You become the Hermit. The Hermit is a necessary step when it comes to this process. That's that moment that you focus on reconnecting with your higher self as a means to navigate yourself in your everyday waking life. You recalibrate. You remember enough of what you came here to do to get back on your path. Again, the noise, it's there to distract you from what's truly important. The only thing that makes sense in this life is our soul's mission. Yet we are imprisoned inside this three-dimensional density. It's almost as if we have to discover the matrix inside our life, break free of it as a means to free our spirit, free our soul, so we can align with our mission, our purpose, as a means to complete our destiny. You know, a lot of you did everything to gain their love and acceptance, only to realize it was never going to be enough. The point was always to just keep you on the wheel. None of them were ever going to be satisfied. Some of you have spent a large portion of your life trying to make other people happy, only to just now realize it was never possible. It just made you feel like that's what you needed to be doing. This can really speak about family dynamics, especially when they're individuals that are older than you, elders. They set you out on a path to please them. What do we have at the throat, please? Lovers, Gemini energy at the throat. Okay, so here's this energy now that I was speaking about where you're coming into union with your higher self, the divine source spirit. Lover's card can be an energy of alignment. It's like this is your higher self, right? Lifting you up. And then there's this connection in between, the glue in the middle, which is spirit, right? Source, God, the divine, spirit, and your higher self. These are the different depths, the different hierarchies, rather, by which we would benefit constructing our spiritual understanding by. I'm hearing about the energetic tether that connects all of us to Source. This is what can become frayed, stretched out, the more we get consumed by the third density. The third density, by design, does not support us building a spiritual understanding. It wants us to build a material understanding that keeps us trapped in our lower chakras. A perfect balance between your crown and your root is necessary to be able to navigate successfully inside this reality that we all live in. More and more, I see people that are too much in their crown chakra, which is when it becomes overactive. Energy of, well, it's spiritual addiction and just feeling very ungrounded, very dogmatic. And then when you're too much in your root, this is when your whole life revolves around materialism and greed, the kind of lust for control and power. You want to hold on to a strong faith. Having a universal understanding of how all this works is what allows us to truly win at life. We're in this game and we can have a lot of fun with it. But when you start to understand how best to balance these energies in your life, this is when you truly start to realize that you are actually in complete control. What do we have for the third eye, please? Wow. Unbelievable. Literally followed what I said. Seven of Cups. So sometimes when I look at the Seven of Cups, I see the seven chakras, right? All the confusion, the greed, the lust, the seven deadly sins. And see how it's creating this kind of, it's like smoke and mirrors, right? And see how Christ is underneath that veil there, right? It's like they cast out this illusion over all of our lives, causing us to chase all of these things that are truly insignificant. They don't matter in the grand scheme of things. And yes, we still have to live inside this reality and pay bills and do all these things that feel like they kind of keep us in a bit of spiritual bondage. But that's the thing. What I found is when you start to truly align with your North Node and your path, Spirit provides for you. God provides for you. Makes doing all of those mundane tasks in your life easy. See, Spirit understands what it takes to exist in this density. So when you begin to align with your mission, Spirit will provide for you so you can think less and less about all of the everyday tasks that seemingly keep us from being able to focus on the mission at hand. And I say this one from experience. Before I was in my purpose, I struggled a lot. I've probably worked more jobs than anyone I've ever known. Tried everything. Always a hard worker, but was just never in the position that I was supposed to be in. I was meant to do all of those things because I needed to gather the experience and the wisdom because it serves me now when I'm actually in my purpose and in my mission. But I tell you, it wasn't before I truly aligned with my North Node did I find myself having to think less and less about all the insignificant little everyday tasks of life. In other words, Spirit always provides. I don't even have to think about it. It's just always taken care of. And I truly believe that everybody has access to this. When I started to really understand how this worked, I just wanted everybody else to see what it is that I was seeing happen in my own life. But sometimes it's beyond words, or it just takes time to actually wrap your head around it and be able to actually articulate it in a way that people would understand. But if I can try and summarize it, each one of us is sent down here on a mission. From the moment we're born, we are placed inside a matrix of our life that we are supposed to find our way out of. Just about everybody that we come in contact with is involved in some capacity, family, friends. And the reason for this is because you all have a special purpose here. To help raise the collective vibration, to help keep the balance of Gaia. It's like the planets are the chakras of the solar system, and we are the kinds of custodians. And the way we're able to help keep the balance is by stepping into our mission that was handcrafted and assigned to us by the divine. When you function inside of these spaces, your vibration raises. It creates an influence everywhere you go, thus allowing you to fulfill your purpose and mission. The support that Spirit gives you while functioning inside of that space is kind of like your per diem. It's like your paycheck for actually making it there, for actually waking up to the matrix that the devil has placed in your life. It's no easy task. It's probably the hardest thing to do in existence, is to wake up spiritually to the absolute truth of who you are and what you came here to do. What is more difficult than that? Nothing. Because it's a certain kind of death. It's a death to everything that you once knew. It's paradigm shifting, and it breaks the framework by which you have always understood your reality had existed. And then right on the bottom of the deck, I have the Eight of Cups, Pisces energy. So it's like, here you are, you're in this energy where you're starting to understand this. You're like, you mean none of it was real? And it's like that person back there. I feel like it's you. Both of them are. There's been this divide. Male or female, genders don't matter here. But there's been this split, this divide in who you once were and who you're becoming. When the future meets the past, you're able to break free of the shackles that bind you. What do we have? The crown, please. Page of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy at the crown. Perfect. This is following what I'm saying, because the Page of Pentacles here is really speaking about how the divine provides for you and takes care of you. Page of Pentacles is an energy of manifestation. It's an energy of seeking abundance, the abundant mindset. And it's like Spirit has shown up in the form of a little elf, right? They brought you a pentacle through. Like, Spirit, why didn't you come in as an elf with a leaf on your head? It's kind of weird. But it's really representing here what I'm feeling regarding this message that they're trying to convey to all of you here. You know, this message feels to me like the divine is using me right now as a vessel to help sell all of you to this idea, right? Like when somebody goes and signs up for the military, the recruiters are trying to sell you on the idea, right? Tell you all the perks. Very similar here. And it's almost exact in the way that you are all soldiers, soldiers of the light, soldiers of awakening, soldiers of truth. And then right on the bottom of this deck, I literally have Lucifer, okay? What do we have at the foundation, please? Nine of Wands. This card came out reverse. I automatically read this card in reverse, even though I placed it on the table upright. These are negative polarities, so they represent the resistance in our life. The Nine of Wands, read in its negative polarity, is speaking about a few different things, but first and foremost, there's a huge message here around a lot of you needing to have faith. This is something that you will strengthen through the power of prayer, like we've already picked up in the reading. You know, a lot of times people find prayer when they're at their lowest, but Spirit is really encouraging all of you to start implementing it into your practice, even when things are good, because it's a kind of insurance policy, okay? You shouldn't have to wait for things to start falling apart or get bad before you begin to implement prayer into your life. It's also one of these things that has a way of really turning around our circumstances literally from one day to the next. You can say a prayer before you go to sleep, and the next day you wake up, and depending on what it is you may be dealing with, you may find that things are resolved. Now, everything is circumstantial. That's not going to be for everybody, but for the vast majority of you, prayer will certainly call in some support to help you with what you may be going through. The Nine of Wands is also speaking about the need for you to finally keep and maintain boundaries with these opposing energies. Person, place, thing, behavioral pattern, mindset. It's time. You know, a lot of people watch tarot because they want to know when the people that came against them are going to get karma, right? And all I can tell all of you here is that the way that this actually begins to unfold is when you truly begin to step into your power. It takes you making the first step towards whatever that may represent for you for the scales to tip. You must take action. And typically speaking, once you do this, You become so consumed and too busy to even worry about individuals receiving karma that you completely forget about it. That's where you really want to be. You want to be completely distracted from these individuals altogether on your path, in your purpose. And I just got a ringing in my ear. So they want me to say that retribution for a lot of you will be punishment imposed in the form of watching you succeed. I'm also picking up something here surrounding individuals, especially I feel during the holiday season, maybe speaking about some of you in groups. You may be picking up on some of this energy. It's like a bit of an anxious kind of energy that I'm picking up here. Wow. Knight of Swords, Horus. So the Knight of Swords from this deck is an energy that's very criticizing, right? So reinforces what I said. People quite possibly criticizing where you are in your life, what you're doing, criticizing you having stepped into your power, speaking down on you actually being on the path to becoming the best version of yourself that's ever existed on any timeline, completely disregarding how difficult your path has been up until this point, trying to control the narrative surrounding your life as a means to create a false narrative around who they are. Damage control is really what it comes down to. That's all some of these individuals are even concerned about, is how all of this is going to look to others. What are they going to say about you no longer being around? What are they going to say about what you're doing in your life? What are they going to say when people ask about you that haven't seen you in years? Most of these people just making up stories. For some of you, the stories are just completely outlandish, but this is all temporary. The more you rise, the more the truth begins to spread. I'm also hearing here that for some of you, one day somebody will just see you somewhere, and then one of your enemies will try to lie to them about who you are now and what you've become. They'll get caught out in the lie. Well, that's not true. I saw them here doing this, and they're doing great. They're really succeeding in their life. So what are you talking about? This is just a real basic example of how the truth will begin to unearth itself the more aligned you become with your mission. And this is all the divine arranging things behind the scenes, preparing a table for you in front of your enemies. Literal scripture. This is how your life is beginning to unfold. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Six of Wands, Leo energy, murmur at the solar plexus. The Six of Wands from this deck represents a fall from grace, and it's right underneath this tower, right? They can't hold up the lie any longer. They can't hold up the illusion. It's all crumbling. People will start to see how these individuals betrayed you. They will start to put two and two together. Why weren't they succeeding when they were around these other individuals? And now all of a sudden, they've cut themselves off from everybody and they're succeeding. What does that say about the people that they had to cut themselves off from? These people didn't support them. They took advantage of their kindness, drained them of their light, made them want to give up on life, just settle for the mediocrity. This can have a way of triggering awakenings in people's lives that you're not even aware of, especially depending on who this is for all of you. You know, if it's family dynamics, this can be earth-shattering. People finally starting to see where the bad apple has always been amongst a community of people. Once you break away and succeed without the influence of these individuals in your life, it doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that you're here now. But what I can tell you, for those of you that want to know, when you truly get on your path and you take a similar approach to what I've laid out here for all of you, the divine will illuminate this to you because it's a part of your healing process. It's a part of the journey. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting karmic retribution to unfold in your life for people that tried to keep you trapped in hell. But the most important thing that you must focus on is your path. And I promise you, if you do this, all of these other details will just work themselves out. That's what the divine does for you. And then right on the bottom of the deck, the devil again. So the devil twice, we've seen Lucifer. Okay, so Moloch, and see how he's waving? He's like, see you later. I always knew you had spirit. I always knew you would escape hell. Those people that you're leaving behind, none of them have any heart. But you're going to achieve great things. It's like the devil knows his place. He knows his own. And I feel like he doesn't even want to claim some of these individuals. They're just completely despicable. Some of you are kinds of anti-heroes. You balance somewhere between the dark and the light. It's a part of your mission. We all do in some capacity, right? That perfect balance between the root and the crown. That's where we exist at our best in this third density. I'm hearing that a lot of you are keepers of the great balance. This is why we're getting this message about these individuals. Just, it's like they don't follow any kind of rule book when it comes to life. You know what it is? They're grifters. They just go with whatever is happening in the moment. These are the worst kinds of people. There's a lot of them around these days, especially on social media. People who, you know, change with trends to try and fit in somewhere. Some cases it can be harmless, but when I'm picking up here, it's very diabolical. It's just absurd. What do we have at the heart, please? It's like somebody who's a tarot reader and then they give up tarot and they become a born-again Christian. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But from what I have witnessed, people who do this do it because they were abusing it. There are unspoken rules when it comes to this craft here. Certain things that you just don't do. But 100% of the time, these people that do this have done something nefarious with the craft. I've witnessed it time and time again. So that's just another little side message. Be aware of these people. These are not people you want to be following. These are people that have judgment on their head. They're speaking the gospel now because the devil came for them when they were up to some sort of evil acts. So like most people, they drop to their hands and knees and they start praying to God. But these are the people, right, that don't have heart, because the only reason why they dropped to their knees and started praying to God is because they get caught. If they didn't get caught, they'd still be doing the same thing. What do we have at the heart, please? Wow. 9 of Pentacles, Amdusius. Making mistakes. Okay, now whenever I get this guy right here, it's like there he is, you know. Today he's a unicorn. Yesterday he was a trumpet player. The day before that he was playing the saxophone, right? The grifter, right? That's what this energy represents. Oh, I didn't know I was going to hurt anybody, right? They knew damn well what they were doing. A lot of these individuals are people that have taken advantage of you, created setbacks in your life, threw you under the bus for what they could gain. This energy represents individuals that are completely consumed by the third density, the material world, seemingly void of any sort of soul. It feels strange to even say that, because how could this be? I just heard they have souls, but they're not connected to them. It's almost as if their soul is separate from them, and their vessel is a kind of prison for their soul. Oh, God. Hearing something about, for some of you, this may resonate, looking at people's eyes, hearing something about black eyes. I don't know where they're going here with this one now. It's just kind of came out of left field, but there's always a reason for these messages. All right, let's keep moving forward. 8 of Cups, EIL, transformation. Okay, now I get the message. The more that all of you are waking up, the more you're going to begin to see similar things to what I'm speaking about here. You start to see people flipping on a dime, right? People exposing themselves, people beginning to physically look different. But because there's more of you awakening now to your paths, this is something that's beginning to take place globally. It's like we're beginning to see the demons of the world for who they really are. It's like they can't hide from us anymore. And all it took was you withdrawing and moving on, abandoning hope, so to speak, abandoning ship, learning from your missteps, learning from your shortcomings, and just growing and transforming, not getting caught up. And this is what illuminates your path for you. Hermit stacked with 8 of Cups. It's like that secret doorway, that passageway, that new idea, whatever it is, it just appears once you finally leave and never look back, whatever that represents for you. What do we have at the throat, please? Leave and never look back is exactly right. 9 of Wands again, so we have it twice. Ahasia. God, the impenetrable secret, universal medicine, elevation of the soul, and the revelation of mysteries. Now, this is an energy of resilience, and again, keeping boundaries. But see how this angel, it's like they're clearing the path for you, clearing the runway, moving everything out of the way, right? Right there. Come on, come with us. And then boom. preparing for takeoff. It's like a rescue mission. And, you know, that can also really speak about this process. You're being rescued, spiritually speaking, which allows you to rescue yourself in the here and now, as above, so below. Empowerment happens spiritually, and then it trickles its way so below. What do we have at the third eye, please? Four of Swords, A'el. The God of Trinity, mission, protects against slander and impious people. Here you are on the other side of this, looking back, thinking about everything you have gone through to get to this very moment. The God of Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. There's this culmination, there's this grand alignment that takes place. And this further reinforces what I said about the hierarchy of spirit. Spirit is the creative, inspirational force. What do we have at the crown to close out the reading, please? Queen of Wands, Elamia, the hidden God, divine power, guards against mental troubles. Now, this is further reinforcing everything I'm saying here about God, Spirit, the divine, being with you during this time. And again, there's a crucial need for prayer here, okay? It's going to help realign you. It's going to help calibrate you. It opens you up to downloads, intuitive guidance. I promise you that if you start to implement an Our Father into your life before you go to sleep every night, your entire life will change. There's no reason why each and every one of you can't do that. And on this card, we can see how, well, it's like there's this cocoon of wings around you. There's so much protection. And it's like you're getting ready to be birthed back out into the world. There's an energy of self-mastery here. An energy of charm and confidence is beginning to come through. And I feel that this is you just waiting to be birthed in this new year, right? It's like here you are inside this space, being upgraded, being worked on, going through all of this. And now you're peeking out, right? Just preparing to rise again. Preparing to rise again. That's it. This is the message I have available to all of you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donations. Take care.